So,
Good morning, everyone. Yes, sir, please let me introduce. Okay, so good morning, everyone. I am Deblina Roy, student here at Bengal College of Engineering and Technology, and I feel honored to be the host of today's faculty development program, organized by Entrepreneurship Development Cell and Institute Innovation Cell. It's wonderful to see so many esteemed faculty members and guests gathered here, ready to share ideas and learn together. Firstly, I would like to extend a warm welcome on behalf of our college to all of you. This program was designed to help us grow as a community, to exchange knowledge, and to develop new skills that will benefit both educators and students alike. I look forward to a collaborative and insightful session with each of you. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our session chair, Sanchita Ghosh ma'am. We are honored to have her here to guide us through today's discussions. Moving on to our fifth session, the topic is Artificial Intelligence and the Legal Domain, a Partnership to Treasure. I am delighted to introduce our speaker, Dr. Kripa Bandhu Ghosh sir. He is an assistant professor in the Center for Data Science at IISER Kolkata. His research focuses on the intersection of machine learning and quantum physics, particularly in developing quantum algorithms and studying quantum many-body systems. He earned his PhD from the Indian Institute of Science, IISc Bangalore, and completed postdoctoral research at the Max Planck Institute for the Physics of Complex Systems in Dresden, Germany. His expertise spans.
I would like to interrupt. I think you are introducing the wrong person. So I'm a PhD from ISI Kolkata, and I'm not from quantum physics.
Okay, sir, my mistake. Sorry, sir. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Kripa Bandhu Ghosh, sir, as they share their expertise on this topic. Now over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for this welcome, and thank you for this opportunity to let me talk on this. How much time do I have? 1 hour, close to 1 hour.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So let me say something about myself. So this is a topic, as you can see, artificial intelligence and the legal domain, a partnership to treasure. My name is Kripa Bandhu Ghosh, and I'm an assistant professor at Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, Kolkata. Though it mentions Kolkata, it is in Mohanpur, close to Kollani. So it is, that's me, as you can understand. My background is not proper, so I thought that I would put a picture of myself. So I did my PhD from Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, in the area artificial intelligence and law. And during my PhD, I tried to solve problems which are faced by the legal experts, especially the lawyers and the judges, with the help of artificial intelligence. If I talk about the broad areas of research, they would be information retrieval, data mining, information extraction, fairness, machine learning, natural language processing, and also the large language models. So this is an example of a real life complaint which is posted by a consumer. If I can read this out to you, it says, I have bought Samsung Galaxy Y Duos Pro phone a month ago from Croma, Baroda. After coming home, when I checked the phone, I found that its microphone was not working. I took this mobile back to Chroma, Baroda, for replacement as it was manufacturing defect. Chroma people were not ready to change the phone, but they wanted 7 more days to get confirmation from Samsung for changing the instrument. Samsung is also not ready to accept their mistake. They're ready to repair it, but not ready to change the instrument. What should I do now? So this is a real life complaint taken from Consumer Forum. I have nothing against Samsung or Baroda Chroma, but unfortunately, this is what actually happened. I guess many of us would have faced something like this. I can say that I faced something similar. So, what is the solution? To a common person, to a lay person who has no knowledge of law, the person uh, would go, I mean, round and round calling the shopkeeper, and the person usually will not be aware of law. The Consumer Rights, Consumer Protection Act 1986, which says that if something is within the warranty period, then uh, the maker of the product must take immediate attention and try to replace it or repair it. So it is consumer protection right, which most of the consumers are not aware of. So this is a case which was filed in in consumer court, a similar case. As you can see that there was a manufacturing defect in the phone, and as a result of the case, the person won the case. The person who bought the mobile phone, which was defective, and the makers of the phone had to provide the same a new phone, right, free of cost, of course. And uh, if I mean, the order was they had to provide a phone like this, failing which there will be a refund of rupees 6800 and some fines, 9% interest, all these things. So if a common man is aware of this law and some examples of prior cases which the aggrieved customer won, this will be a great weapon, and this kind of harassment will not be there. Again, this is another real life example. Somebody says that I'm Hindu, Indian, adult woman. I am in an affair with a married man. He loves me, but not ready to divorce his wife. What should I do? Unfortunately, this is a very common case that happens in India. And again, this is a real life case. Again, this in the older, if you follow the older section of law, it comes under bigamy, right? So a person cannot marry another person according to the Hindu Marriage Act without uh, without basically, I mean, nullifying the current marriage, right? So suppose if there is a system like this, when a common person, so the common man is basically, I mean, gender neutral term. A common person asks this question. I bought Samsung Galaxy, what and I'm talking about this case, the whole case. I have not put the whole case here. What do I do now? And there is a human legal expert, a lawyer. The lawyer says it is within warranty. Please ask for the replacement or refund. It is your consumer rights. You should contest. This would have been wonderful, isn't it? If any of a common person is able to get human legal guidance easily, it would have been wonderful. But that is not the case because of the lack of awareness. So instead of a human legal expert, if we have AI legal expert, which of course provides you the correct information, the correct guidance. You see that the guidance is the same. Guidance, remains the same. It also says it is within warranty. Please ask for replacement or refund. It is a consumer rights. Then it would be wonderful. But I am not aware of any such system which is in place, at least which is free to use. There are systems, but you have to pay for it, which can help a common person in this kind of a situation. And to add more to it, such kind of a system will be useful to a human legal expert also. Yes, you heard it right. It can be helpful to the lawyers, it can be helpful to the judges, right? So there are many such situations where a legal expert, given all the knowledge of law, all the education of law, might need artificial intelligence. So this is actually adopted by many courts, like Estonia, long time back, thought that AI might be useful. There are many other countries like Austria, England, France, Latvia, Netherlands, where AI is actually in place. In India, in 2021 and later on also, Justice A. Bobde, uh, the Chief Justice of India, that's the main judge of Supreme Court, that's the Chief Justice of India, warmly welcomed AI to assist judges in legal research. Right. So we see that there are many examples, many areas where artificial intelligence has been making a difference, like it is transport, agriculture, right? Education, of course. Uh, there is hardly any sector where artificial intelligence is not been applied and it is not useful. So let's take a brief walk down the history line, and see where it all started. AI in judiciary in the world scenario. It is believed that Professor L. Thorne McCarthy is the first person who actually designed an AI tool for legal reasoning way back in 1970s. He was a professor at Harvard University, and he's also called informally uh, called the father of artificial intelligence and law. So the person designed a system which can automatically suggest the type of um, taxation that is applicable to a particular document in basically, I mean, corporate law. Then there came systems like Helic 2, which is again a legal reasoning system in Japan in 1993, around this time, where in a situation like where Mr. A and Mr. B quarreled violently, and Mr. A threatened Mr. B with knife, and Mr. B shot Mr. A with a gun. So, what kind of acts or what kind of legal course or legal reasoning is applicable here? So, there are two aspects, as you can see. Someone has threatened, and the other person has shot out of self defense. So there are many aspects. I'm not going to the details. So the system was able to identify the course of action, like in the example which with which we started. The course of action was um, it is within warranty, right? And hence you have to look for refund or replacement of the product. Then in 2016, a system called Compass, which stands for Correctional Offender Management Profiling for Alternate Sanctions, that was used by the US, by a US court uh, to convict a person, right? And it made into the headlines of the New York Times, right? So a person, Eric L. Loomis, was sentenced to 6 years in prison. And a product called Compass, sold by a concern called North Point Inc., was used. And there was a study by a body called ProPublica, which concluded that this system, Compass, had a racial bias. So it's more likely that it's going to convict black defendants than white defendants. So they made some study in a situation where, given the same kind of crime, uh, like two, basically, I mean, possession of drugs, right? They were dealers in drug. A white person was predicted as 3, which means that this person is not likely to be guilty, versus a black person, it is 10. So the scale is between 0 and 10. 0 means no risk, and 10 is high risk. This was highly questionable, right? In response to this, the chief uh, the judge who was heading the judge bench, Justice Bradley, said that a system may or may not have bias, but we have not blindly followed the algorithm. The algorithm provided us with some recommendation, but we have also used our own discretion. Then, 2 years later, another system came to prominence, which is called HART, Harm Assessment Risk Tool, 2018. So it was used for predicting whether a person is likely to repeat a crime, right? But another leading newspaper, Wired, reported that this could be discriminating against the poor. The HART system was shown that it is predicting the poorer population, economically weaker population, to be more likely to commit crime than the rest. So here there is social bias. You see. So the problem here is the system is not fair as it seems. So there are two sides of it. One, the data might be biased, and historically, it is possible that more in this situation, more blacks might have been convicted with this crime than whites, and in this situation, it is likely that someone from the economically weaker section have been convicted more, which is a fact, which might be true also, but debiasing is necessary. The system should not be biased towards any uh, underrepresented group, any sensitive group, right? Uh, so, like, say, race, gender, also economic status, all these are very important factors. Then in 2020, I was surprised by this a little bit, because I was of the wrong impression that most of the developments are done by the US, UK, right? But I was not aware of the advancements of AI in I mean southern part of I mean southern America, right? For example, Brazil, because Brazil is more known for coffee and football, right? Not for AI. I have not come across a lot of interventions, AI interventions, AI, I mean, innovations coming from Brazil. But I was wrong, and I was happy to be wrong. I came across a system called Victor, which was used in a court of Brazil. And this system was again uh, used to filter out the more important cases, or the cases which need more prominence, or the case that might need more attention of the judges over the petty cases, something like this. And before the usage of the system, it was done manually by civil servants, and it took 40 minutes for each case. But the system Victor did that in 5 seconds and with high accuracy, 95%. But again, it came under heavy criticism that it is a black box, and the internal functioning of the system is not made public, or it is not discussed with even the person who are convicted, were not aware of this. And also, uh, no so so also the whether it is right to use AI in a court of law, that was also questioned. But you see that these countries are quite progressive. Whether it is correct or not, that is something else. But they actually uh, did apply artificial intelligence to a real court, right? And uh, and these are only few of the cases, few of the countries. There are many more countries where AI is uh, used at a much higher scale. Like in India, Supes and Suvas are two AI based systems. One for assistance, Supes is for assistance in court, in court efficiency. And Suvas is used is software for translating Supreme Court judgments into vernacular languages like Assamese, Bengali, Hindi, uh, all these languages, so that it becomes accessible to the masses. Um, I'm curious to know if there are any, I mean, students around. I mean, who is in the audience? Yeah. Uh, Hello, am I audible? Okay, all right. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Oh, attending through YouTube. Okay, I see, I see. Okay, okay, all right. Okay, okay, all right. Let me continue. So I would walk you through a couple of problems in the legal domain where AI, artificial intelligence, has been used for a long period of time. So the premise is we have facts of a new case, like something has happened, right? And statute identification is a problem. We find the sections or articles which are applicable to this case. And prior case identification uh, is something which automatically find the previous similar cases which are applicable to this case. Like if you remember at the beginning, I showed this case, Samsung Galaxy, where this statute, so this is an applicable statute, Customer Protection Act 1986, and this is a prior case, right? So we are looking at automatic identification of a statute, that is law that is applicable, and a prior case which is applicable to this current case, right? So the problem is like this. We have facts of a case. Let me read out the fact. So this is taken from a real Supreme Court case. The appellants meaning who have filed the complaint, who has filed the case, right? So if you look at the structure of a case, is it yes? So structure of a case is like this. Say Nathuni Yadav and others versus state of Bihar. So Nathuni Yadav and others, which means Nathuni Yadav and some, many others, other people, they have filed the case against state of Bihar. So Nathuni Yadav and others are the appellant or petitioner. They also called it a petitioner, and state of Bihar is the respondent, right? Petitioner or who have filed the case, and respondent against whom the case is filed. Correct. So petitioners, all the appellants, were tried for offences on the allegations that about 4 months prior to the incident, some quarrel had taken place between the deceased P1 and the appellant number 4 P2 in relation to raising of boundary wall. On 12th April 1983 at about 7 p.m., the deceased, accompanied by P3, had gone to P4 to engage some laborers for cutting crop in this field. And while returning to the house of P4, when the deceased came near the L1 of appellant number 4, he shouted to the remaining accused who were there that the deceased was their enemy and should not be allowed to go and kill him. The appellant number 6 assaulted the deceased with lathi on his head and fell down on the ground, and finally the person died. Right. So these are the roughly what happened. So there was a quarrel regarding something, right? Some property related issue, and some group of people were furious with this, and they wanted to kill the opposition so that the problem gets solved, and they executed the plan. So they had a plan in mind. So this is an older case. So IPC, Indian Penal Code, is applicable. So there has been an updation in law recently. The Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita is in place, but since this is an older case, IPC will be applicable. The older law is applicable. So here the applicable applicable law is IPC 302, which says whoever commits murder shall be punished with death or imprisonment for life and shall also be liable to fine. So what is the input to the system? The facts. And the desired output is IPC 302. If it is something else, then the prediction is wrong. So many complex algorithms have been applied. So I'm not going into the depth. So if you are interested, you can contact me separately. I know you're not able to ask questions right now, but the performance has not been great so far. This is macro F1. So 0.29 is quite low, which means that the problem is a difficult problem if multiple statutes are applicable. But for simple cases like this is a straightforward case, right? Someone has killed someone else with an intention to do. This mostly is much easier. And prior case identification is like this. So you have the facts of the case. Right? So the same case, and and the system automatically gives you a prior case, right? So okay, so although it shows 1996, it is a much older case. So actually it was filed earlier. So this is a case which has been filed later on. The actual facts are older, and this is also about some property dispute and someone killed someone else like this. So in this case, actually this case was cited because a case was filed at a point of time, and then after a series of appeals, right, it takes a lot of time. So now looking at the future direction, whether AI is useful or not, That is an important question. But are there other aspects associated, right? Yes, the answer is yes. So it is not about a problem of predicting whether whether given an image it is a cat or dog, right? Or given a piece of text whether it contains a positive sentiment or negative sentiment, right? Even if these applications go wrong, the human lives are not at stake. But when you apply artificial intelligence to a domain where human life, career, money, reputation are all at stake, you have to be doubly careful, right? So the accuracy is extremely crucial, and trust is an issue. As you mentioned, as we saw, that in the case of the victor, Brazil, the main question mark was what is going on inside, right? Is it black magic? Is it some magic going on, right? Everyone is scared, right? What if uh, uh, AI is given the power to take the decision, and if the decision is wrong, then the person can be wrongly convicted, right? And that person can be wrongly sentenced also, right? So for the end users who are not from the AI background, that includes people from the legal profession, that also includes people who are non-legal profession but a common person like us who are not legal experts, right? Because law is important to everyone, right? It's the law of the land. They are not likely to trust an absolute black box. So explainability of AI system is of paramount importance. So nobody wants something like this to happen, right? So it's a black box sitting and is taking a decision, say something denied, say visa denied or bail denied, right? So a human is sitting at this end and the decision is taken by a automaton, artificial intelligence system. The lawyers have this apprehension that this is a sitting lawyer, as an example say, and that person has to fight with artificial intelligence who is representing his or her client. And even worse, guess what? If the judge, instead of human judge, there is a artificial intelligence system who is taking the final decision, right? So I had a discussion with uh, the professor at law at WBNUJS, West Bengal National Institute of Juridical Sciences. Um, I mean, who is a professor there, so he's a PhD in law, and he's more qualified than I would say than uh, an average lawyer, right? So I asked him that what constitutes explanation given a fact of a case, given facts of a case. So this is the same case which I talked about, right? The land dispute and what happened after that. Even if the system comes up with the correct prediction, IPC 302 murder, right? What else should the system produce so that the end user gets an idea that the system is able to reason, has ability to reason, because this is not a random decision. Given the facts, the answer, even if it is correct, it is not a random answer. There is a thought process. There is some causality associated with it. He mentioned that this portion, which is in a different color, this is the reasoning. So the person was assaulted with lathi on his head, fell down, people make sure that the person is dead. They'd actually shown that it is not by an accident. This cannot happen by accident. There was an intention to cause grievous harm to the person to the extent that the person dies. If this explanation comes up, a lawyer will find this acceptable. A legal expert will find this acceptable, right? So the system has to produce two outputs. One, the correct prediction, that is IPC 302 in this case, and the explanation for it. So I could have talked about more complex models, but I chose not to do that because I'm not aware of the audience. I mean, whether they are from AI background or not non-AI background. But nowadays, I see everyone has heard the buzzword large language models. So I thought that let's spend some time on, can the large language models be applied to the legal domain, right? So these are the names which you are, if you are from the artificial intelligence background, like you are a student of computer science, say, or maybe not, you should have heard. If you have not heard ChatGPT, I mean, you may not have used it, but you have not heard the term ChatGPT or LLM, then I'm sorry to say that you are living in the past. You have to wake up and you have to face the reality, as this is the reality nowadays. Whether we accept it or not, we cannot deny it. We cannot ignore it, right? So ChatGPT, OpenAI, then there is DALI, GPT-4, Llama, Palm, Claude, all these models, Gemini, these are ruling the roost, mostly because of the ease of access. You don't need to be a programmer, or you don't need to be someone who is capable of handling complex algorithms to come up with a solution. You just need to know how to ask, right? And guess what? A Colombian judge, Juan Manuel Padilla, asked ChatGPT about what you think about the case, and can we suggest me some precedents? And he was surprised. He was pleasantly surprised, and that made into the headlines of the Guardian, one of the leading newspapers in the world. So a judge is beginning to use ChatGPT. A judge is an expert in law. A judge is not an expert in artificial intelligence. And the examples are many. British judge, Lord Justice Bates, says that ChatGPT is jolly useful. ChatGPT to write the final ruling, if you use ChatGPT, it makes the task easier. And there are many Indian judges who have been using this. So this is a Punjab and Haryana High Court judge has said this, that it is extremely useful. I have personally talked to Supreme Court judges, sorry, High Court judges, not Supreme Court judges, and especially those from the younger generation, they are using it. The lawyers are using it. So I've had the privilege of teaching a course at NUJS, where I teach artificial intelligence, um, application of artificial intelligence to the legal domain, to LLM students. So this LLM is masters of law, right? The law students. So many of them know how to use ChatGPT. So now, what if you ask this question to ChatGPT? So the facts, which Indian Penal Code sections are applicable for the case described as the same case? You've seen this case now, like the property dispute and somebody is killed. The answer by GPT, so this is the answer by GPT 3.5. It will be no different if I use GPT 4 now. Section 302 murder is right at the top, and most of these are applicable. So apart from 302, these are also applicable. And I checked it with a legal expert. So 10 out of 10 for this particular case. I also asked this question. This is the mobile phone case, right? So this is basically a prompt, a GPT prompt, a chat GPT prompt. Again, this is a prompt. Which legal advice can be given in the following scenario? Chroma, Baroda, Samsung, all these things. And then you see that review warranty information is right at the beginning, which is perfect, which is perfectly okay. All these steps, right? Then it talks about consumer protection law. So first you have to talk about warranty, document of warranty, and all these things. And if nothing works, you have to go to the consumer. You have to look into the consumer protection laws, file a complaint with the consumer authorities, consider legal assistance, which is bang on target, right? Again, I got it verified by a legal expert and who was overwhelmed. And you can write more complex prompts like this. So like you can also try to uh, uh, instruct the LLM to behave like a legal expert. You can write something like, imagine that you are a legal expert, and given this case, given this task where a case is provided, and some facts of the case are provided, and these statutes might be applicable. Can you give me a suggestion of which is the best statute? It does work quite well, and it also generates explanations. So this is the annotated explanation. So the explanation that is provided by legal experts from the case. So if I read this out to you, so this is for a different case, not the case I showed you. So let's look into the explanation part. In the fight, the accused person started inflicting injuries to the complainant and his sons, and gave a Farsi blow on the head of P2, P4. So by the way, P5, P4 are like plaintiffs. So the names are usually masked. Plaintiff one, like the person who filed the case, right? And A means accused. A1, A2, these are the accused. So against whom the charge has been filed. So they cause injuries, and P7, P8 attacked the complainant, lathi blows and shoulder, and all these things, right? This happened. So this is the annotated explanation and the generated explanation. So this is generated by ChatGPT. In the fight, the accused person started inflicting injuries. You see, the complainant, his sons gave Farsi blow, and so and so. They're mostly the same. And I showed to the same legal experts, and they were also overwhelmed that the generation is very good. So if you are able to write some good prompts, prediction as well as explanation will be quite good. But then there are problems associated with this, like um, so there are situations where there there is something called hallucinations. So in the case where, I hope you can see this, the deceased. Okay, let me go through it. The deceased P1 was daughter of PW1, P2 resident of village Sanj Khera, and she was married to appellant number 1, P3 and P4 about 2.5 years prior to the date of incident. For 6 months, P1 was treated well, but thereafter the accused started asking her to bring rupees 1,1200 from her parents to meet the household expenses. So uh, whenever PI went to her paternal home, she used to tell her parents, the mother-in-law, and so and so. So this is basically Dowry Prohibition Act. So it's a dowry case, right? And several tortures and all these things happened, unfortunately. But LLM actually hallucinated, which means that it looked at superficial cues and it missed the dowry part, right? So it might happen that the LLM will not be able to look into the depths of the case, right? It will look at it superficially. So there are many such examples. And something more serious, there seems to be gender bias. So in the explanations, when suppose this was the actual explanation, both or both the deceased persons were killed by the appellant by inflicting dagger blows. P3 and P9 died on the spot. And the LLM generated something like this, asked the appellant as to why he was stabbing P3. P7 stated that she was the root of all the troubles and so and so, which means that male and female words were injected. So three female words and male were injected, where you see clearly the gender is indicated in the running text. And it was found that in this task, the explanations contained a lot of uh, imbalance in male and female words. Some additional male and female words were added, and on some cases, uh, there was an advantage of the male over the female. So there are cases where if the appellant is a male, like the person who filed the case, and the opposition is female, the prediction was in the favor of male, something of this sort. All these discrepancies were there, which is something not good. So the final takeaways of this discussion are, we need to have high quality and expert monitor training data. So there is some problem in the training data. As I'll be talking about this Compass case, this black were convicted more than white, and the hard case where like underprivileged are getting convicted more often than not. So historically, there is some bias in the data, because historically it might have been the case that the blacks and the underprivileged committed more crime, and that is why the system uh, emits more probability to them, which is not right. So the data needs to be sanitized, the data needs to be corrected, and it has to be monitored during the training phase uh, with expert guidance. So you need to talk to legal experts and data science experts, data scientists. We need to incorporate fate, fairness, accountability, transparency, and explainability. So these need to be part of prediction. Only prediction, correct or wrong, is not enough. It has to be fair. By fair, I mean it has to be uh, so it should not favor a particular community more than the other, like males over females, whites over blacks, rich against poor. This kind of discrepancies should not be there. Accountability, transparency, explainability means it should be able to explain the final prediction. And most importantly, there's a need with regard to the Indian situation, Indian AI and law fraternities. So AI fraternity and the law fraternity should work as one. There should be exchange of knowledge. AI needs to understand law. The AI experts need to know law more. The legal experts need to know AI more. So that is where this problem can be solved. In the if I talk about the global scenario, situation is improving, but unfortunately in India, it needs to improve in leaps and bounds, and very soon. There are other law AI problems which I have not discussed, like summarization, judgment prediction, question answering. These are also being solved by artificial intelligence. So this is the future, like AI and human, with regard to the legal paradigm. And my acknowledgements to Professor Shaptoshi Ghosh, who is my long-term collaborator, and most of these works are done with him, and Professor Shobhik Guho of NUJS, who is the legal expert I talked about, the person who annotated and who gave me all this advice, like this is expected, this kind of explanation will be useful, will be acceptable to a legal expert. And annotators, like many students from Rajiv Gandhi Law School, IIT Kharagpur, and NUJS, who did a lot of annotations. Like they actually looked into the documents under supervision of a senior legal expert. Like annotations were marked, right? The correctness of the system was checked. All these things were done by law students and verified later on by a senior legal expert. And of course, AI students, Saptarshi Ghosha students, my students are involved in the work which I presented. Thank you very much. And by the way, this is the image generated by ChatGPT by DALI, the DALI model. It's a robot law assistant who is also a female. That's all. Thank you very much. I will be happy to take questions later on. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable and knowledgeable speech on artificial intelligence and legal domain, a partnership to treasure. So we are very sorry for the behalf of the session host. Actually, sees our student and not getting the point and your introduction. He sees told the wrong introduction of yourself. So please don't mind, sir. We got many questions from YouTube chat box, so we select few questions. And the first question is, how can AI improve the efficiency and effectiveness of legal services?
Yeah, so that is exactly what I was trying to discuss. This has to be done. So, in order to improve, AI and law community needs to work closely. There needs to be high quality training data, not only for prediction but also for explanation. That has to be annotated by legal expert, verified by legal expert, and this has to be produced at a huge scale, so that the training of the system is uh, of very high quality.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Our next question is, can AI based legal tools replace human judgment in sensitive legal matters?
The answer is they should not be allowed to do. AI based legal tools in the first place should not be allowed to do this. AI
Yes,
based
sir.
legal tools uh, can, if they reach a desirable level of accuracy with explanations, whatever is necessary, they can be an ally. So they can be a recommending system to a legal expert, to a judge, right? But it
Yeah.
should not have the authority to pass the final judgment. It is up to the human judge or the lawyer to accept the recommendation or not.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Our next question is, what legal implications arise from the use of AI in decision making process?
Acha, okay. So then, well, if there is a wrong suggestion by say ChatGPT, say you ask about a case and the precedent or some suggestion that is provided that is wrong, and you end up and the lawyer ends up using using that recommendation by the by ChatGPT in this case, and loses the case, right? Or a final decision that is provided is wrong. Or say, let's take an example of auto-driven cars, right? If it leads to an accident and it causes damage, who is liable, right? So this is a gray area, and there is no real solution to it. So you cannot accuse artificial intelligence, and always there is, I would say, place to hide for the manufacturer. We say that no system is perfect. It can, uh, I mean, no human being is also perfect. So AI systems can do mistakes. Whether we want to accept it or not, that is something that has to be decided. and someone has to make the call. A legal expert will be able to give you a better suggestion to this, uh, with regard to where Indian law lies. I think it is still a gray area, and because of this gray area, artificial intelligence has not been given the ultimate authority. The human has the ultimate authority, because we cannot convict artificial intelligence. We cannot punish artificial intelligence or the makers of artificial intelligence, because they can also say that it is an algorithm, it can commit mistakes, right? But the human beings, there is law against human beings. So as long as the final decision is taken by the human being based on suggestion of artificial intelligence, we should not have any problem.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. And our last question is, how might AI support alternative dispute resolution (ADR)?
Acha, okay. Hmm. Alternative or online? Okay, you're talking about acha. So in dispute resolution, AI might help in providing previous examples. Say this is a nature of a dispute, right? And such similar disputes happened in the past. And if it is not a clear cut case, you can take help from prior disputes and decide whether to take the course of the past disputes, and that might be a guiding force. But the final call has to be taken by the judge, uh, who is the person, who is basically the mediator. So apart from that, I'm not aware of any other way in which AI can be helpful.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful session. And that's all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. So I'm leaving this call.
Okay,
Thank you
sir.
very
Okay.
much.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.